Welcome back to Weems Motor Co. We're in Tennessee and we're going to talk about what you need to pack when you go ride old Triumphs in the woods. Stick around. So you grabbed yourself up an old vintage motorcycle, doesn't matter the brand, but you said, hey, I want to go out and do some woods riding. What kind of things should I bring with me? Now, this was a question that was posed by one of our viewers, and today I thought, what better opportunity as we are in Tennessee and we are getting ready to head up to Loretta Lynn's for the Hooligan 100 race to let you guys know what exactly we throw into our tool roll. So let's take a closer look. All right, so the two motorcycles we have before us is our 1967 Triumph Cub that we just wrapped up specifically to take up for this race. And then this is our 1956 Desert Sled Racer that we did the Biltwell 100 on. And we figured, why not take these and use these as examples of how to pack up for this off-road racing trip, whatever you want to call it. But as you can see, each motorcycle has a tool roll on the handlebars. And right now there's no tools in those rolls because all the tools are laid out here for you guys so that we can explain what we're going to be packing up, bringing onto this race. Now, you think to yourself, what kind of obstacles, what kind of things may I encounter in the woods when it comes to riding an old motorcycle? Things like flat tires, things like pieces vibrating and falling off. All kinds of things can happen to these vintage motorcycles when you're out racing or just riding them for general fun. So the first thing that I like to pack up is actually a tube. Now this tube is a 19-inch tube because on our motorcycles here, we want to choose the tire that is the largest because you can put a larger tube into a smaller rim in a pinch just to get yourself back to the pits or back to the trailer, wherever you're trying to go. So we have a tube packed up in that, but you know, in order to use a tube, you're gonna have to have something to inflate it. And I do have this really cool Air Moto. It's a USB rechargeable air pump. It works great. You set your pressure that you want there and you hook it up and it pumps it right to where you need. But before you can even get to that place, you have to be able to get the tire off, and that means you need tools. So these old bikes, we use Whitworth tooling on them, and you know, a lot of other motorcycles use metric standard. So one thing that will work for all of them is a crescent wrench, an adjustable wrench, something that you can get in there, get those nuts and bolts and everything loosed off so that you can get the rear axle off, so that you can get that rear wheel off of there. Now, once you got the tire off, you're gonna need some tire spoons. Now these, I've cut them down so they fit in my pouch, but nothing special. Get that tire right off so that you can get the new tube in there, so that you can use the inflator, so that you can get yourself back onto the trail. Now, there are situations in which you find yourself stuck, and certain tools are needed to be able to get things going. And one of those things could be, let's say, a broke cable. I always bring with me a little tin that's filled with extra cable, extra end fittings that use screwdrivers and pliers and stuff instead of like having to solder things together. So it's imperative to have something like this, because if you break a cable out there in the woods, you better have a tow strap to bring with you. And that brings us to our next thing. All right, so when it comes to tow straps, I just simply use a ratchet strap. Now this is just a slide fit adjustable ratchet strap. You never know when you could take a strap and put it up into a tree limb and use it to lift up the back of that bike to get the tire off, or lift the front up to get that tire off so that you can change it out. But also, in the event that catastrophic failure happens and you need a tow out of the woods and somebody's coming by, they can hook you up with a strap, pull you on out of there, get you back to your pit and get you loaded up and heading home. Hopefully that's not the point for us when it comes to this race. Now, next things you want to do is pliers. I always bring a set of standard pliers, a set of needle nose pliers, because you know, these can get off bolts and hold things as you use your crescent wrench or whatever you're using, and plus needle nose will get in there to those really tight spaces. Always bring a knife with you. You never know when you need to use a stick to whittle something, and you know, you're sitting there waiting for your buddy to come get you. So then next thing I always bring with me is a set of spark plugs. Now I pre-gap these so that when I get out there and I need to change them, I don't have to have an extra tool to be able to do it. And speaking of tools, you need something to get these out, and I bring a spark plug socket with a hex top so that I can use my crescent wrench to be able to get that off and get those spark plugs out, because you're gonna foul a plug. It's inevitable. Last few things that we have for us is obviously zip ties and safety wire, because you never know when you're gonna need to make something stay on. These are the things you want to use. You can also bring tape with you. It's not a bad idea. If you have the room, bring as much as you can. And then the last thing is I have a screwdriver with multiple tips. So in the event I have to get out there and do some adjusting, I have a tool that I can do that with it. And that's basically it. I load all these things right up into my front tool pouch so that I don't have to carry it on my body, and I can head out there in the woods and have a great time. So speaking of heading out in the woods and having a great time, let's fire up this Cub, go take it for some trail rides. Let's take this little Cub into the woods, see what happens. Ooh, that's a tight fit. Alright, now we got some opening to us. Ooh, look at that deer running through there. Ooh, gotta love Tennessee, beautiful area. I'm pretty stoked about this little Triumph Cub. I am excited to be able to get it up to Loretta Lynn's and do some racing up that way. Now, I'm sure it's going to be way more technical than this little bit of riding I'm doing here, but this is just a proof of how well these little 200cc Triumph engines can maneuver around in the woods. Nice tight little spots. Plenty of torque to get in and go where you need to go. I think I'm ready to have a lot of fun with this thing. Now, I've never ridden the trails at Loretta Lynn's, but from what I hear and the videos that I've seen, it's a pretty technical course. So I think having this much lighter motorcycle would help me to be able to maneuver around all those tight little squeezes, those ruts in those valleys. So I think I'm gonna have a pretty good time. Got my tool pouch on the front of the bike, all the tools I need. Now all I gotta do is fill her up and get to the actual race. So that's gonna be a whole nother video for you guys. But man, I tell you what, I thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a super rad time getting this bike ready to go for the race and letting you guys be along for the whole process as we head north to Tennessee. So with that, we thank you for hanging out. If you are new around here, jump down and hit that subscribe button. If you really like the video, hit that thumbs up, turn those notifications on, and let everyone know what's going on right here at Weems Motor Co. Peace.